ladies to go first, or if you want to start, Barnaby.
Let's do ladies first. I mean, but you're in charge. So I talked a lot today. So whatever you think's the right way to go. It's great to
Okay,
be here. Thanks, everyone.
perfect, perfect. Well, Miss Tila Kid, if you would, and I wish I could turn my video on, but it'll lag. But
You're
if you
good.
would go ahead and just tell us your superpowers. Tell us all about you, your family. Barnaby had a whole hour today. Now he's got to share a little bit, but
Just share a little time, huh?
now you guys listen. You got the whole time, the two of you. I'm gonna close my mouth. You go right ahead, Tila.
All righty. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. As she said, my name is Tila Kid. If you do not know, I definitely love crypto. And so whenever you're on my call, you might hear me hollering and screaming, but that's just me. I love the space. I love the opportunity of what crypto can do for me. I love what crypto has done for me and my family. Just a little bit about me. I've been in the space since around 2015, 2017 is when I started getting into crypto. Got heavily invested into the NFT space. For those of you that know, I still own one of my Bored Apes. And so very happy about that particular NFT. But that NFT was one that it did very well. And so for some people may not know what an NFT is. It's considered a non-fungible token. It's normally a JPEG. You might have heard some of the rappers or professional people who own NFTs. I actually own a Bored Ape. And so one of those projects literally could have cost you about $1,200. And they went up as high as $400,000 each. And so on top of that, being able to get some of the airdrops that you were able to claim for that particular NFT, whether it was just some free ape tokens, which ended up being equivalent to about $200,000 worth of free airdrop money. And those are things that we're going to literally be covering on some of the crypto calls that I do. Like as I said, I love the crypto space. I love what it can do for you. Just one other thing that's key important. I'm happily married to my husband, George. He is fantastic. I am kept. I will say that. Everybody say, I am kept. And so he takes great care of me. I love that man to death. And then I have two beautiful children, Majesty and Miles. My whole family, whether it's crypto, I'm the crazy crypto person. And then most of they all do, whether it's trading Forex or gold or anything like that. That's what the rest of my family do. And so they are learning that crypto is it's really good. And so I'll sit there and say, well, hey, did you go? I remember when Maxie was going to UCLA, I would literally tell her like, hey, did you buy any of the metaverse land? Because metaverse again is another NFT type of deal, but it's land within the metaverse, the invisible. And so I would literally be like, hey, did you guys buy any metaverse land, whether it's in the sandbox game or anything like that? And they were like, well, no. I was like, well, they're about $100,000 now for the metaverse. And so I finally did convince some of my brothers and sisters also to get into this particular space. Have just about all of my brothers and sisters, and there's 8 of us, and 9 of us. There's 9 of us who's in this particular space. All of them love crypto because again, you can definitely see how crypto can provide for you and bless you. I consider it a blessing. I know a lot of people always say, well, man, crypto's such a scam. Can you be scammed? Yes. Can people steal your identity in real life? Yes, they can. It's the same thing in crypto. It's not like scammers go on vacation because it's crypto. It's like, no, they are like here to scam you too. But at the same time, that's the importance, I think, of whether you're on my call or Barney's call, anyone's call that's teaching about crypto. That's what it's become so important. I think, again, as we're tag teaming together to try to keep you guys as safe as possible, that's the power of what you have within this business. It's like it is so powerful. And we're going to try to do everything we can to make sure you guys are comfortable, whether it's buying your crypto. For my new people, everybody's like, oh my God, it's so hard. It's so complicated. It is, but you got us. That's the key. You have us to help you walk through the process of setting up your wallets. So we can make sure, you have your wallets down. You know how to connect those. You know what sites to not connect those on. You know how to transfer your cryptocurrency from wallet to wallet. And then I know my new people, you're all like, well, how do I buy on the exchange? Yeah, that's one way of doing it. That's the new people way of doing it. And I understand that that's where most people will start, where you'll be buying on the exchanges. But at some point, because you heard what he was talking about, whether you're using DeFi or using certain different platforms, we normally don't buy on exchanges. It's like you buy to onboard your crypto, but then after that, it's like we're connecting our wallets to different sites to try to buy the other crypto that we're trying to buy, because the one thing about crypto is that normally, again, not all the time, but if you're buying crypto on the exchange, you buying from me. I'm sorry to tell you, you're buying from me, and I've had it for 3 to 6 months before you're buying it. And so, and that's the power of DeFi, and learning those things of being able to buy crypto early on. But we'll cover those things on our trainings to make sure you guys are ahead of the game, making sure you know what you're doing. That's the most important. And we'll cover as far as trying to protect you to make sure you're not getting scammed, because it will do you no good whether you're taking crypto out in this business as your payment method to give it away to the scammers. So we're going to try to keep you guys secure of showing you, okay, this is what you should be doing with your wallets as far as never sharing your seed phrases and stuff like that. We'll cover those on the training. And so, and if there's any other things, or if there's new coins, I'm always looking at AI coins. There's literally a lot of AI coins that are out there right now that I've been investing in that are doing like 50 to 100x. Like, boom, that they're that good. But can you lose money? I'm not going to sit here and make you think that, oh, you can just make money every single time in crypto. That it doesn't work that way all the time. You're going to lose some. And I'm the first one to say, well, yeah, I can lose some, but when I make the money, you're going to know I made the money. So any losses that you may have, you'll understand that you're going to be good. So, Bart, I didn't mean to take up more of the time, but I'll let you go ahead and say what you need to say too. And then I guess we'll tag team from there. But again, that's me. I'm Tiala Kid, and thank you all for hopping on today.
Tiala, really quickly before we pass to Barnaby, I'm on my phone now. So, Javian, I don't know if you can record to your computer. I don't know if it'll allow you to do that since I had to hop off my computer, but that would be helpful. I'm trying to record to my phone as well, but I don't want to lose this. But Miss Tiala, what are you going to be doing? Oh, before I pass it to Barnaby, what are you going to be doing over here? And then you spoke about your daughter because she is over here as well. I met you, for those of you guys who don't know, I met Miss Tiala and her family years ago, back in, I think, 2021 or so, and I was blown away. I got to see learn about the metaverse and all types of things through you. And your daughter was phenomenal. I mean, just getting out of school. And then I got a chance to work with you on another project that did millions of dollars. And then I got a chance to go and work with you on another project that did millions of dollars. And you guys were the best of the best. I mean,
thank you.
That company went to the next level because your team was a part of it. And now that entire team is now over here in Vibe. So can you tell me a little bit about what you're going to be teaching and what your daughter, because I'm sure we'll hear from her at some point too, what your daughter is going to be teaching over here?
Yes, absolutely. So many things that I'll be teaching. One is making sure my beginners, because again, can I teach advanced? Absolutely. I can teach any intermediate, beginners, advanced. But I think it's super important. My whole goal is I don't want to leave anyone behind. And why I say that is that I think many people in our community, especially people that look like me in my community, everyone thinks it's a scam. And so it's important to me to educate so that you have an understanding as far as how you're going to secure your crypto, how you're going to make the money in crypto, and how you're going to sell your crypto, and then how can you use the money that you make from crypto. So literally like this. So this is a card. I literally can use this card. I've bought roofs with this for my rentals with this card. I've gone to Africa, Greece with this card. You can use your crypto by, once you've made money, of being able to get an understanding. Now, once you've made it, how do you get it off? And so literally, as far as what I'll teaching you the basic of crypto, that's for my beginners. Now, when you're talking about for some of the people who are advanced, whether you want to do some staking, you want to do things with DeFi, I'll be teaching all of those things also. And so I just don't want to leave people behind. I want to make sure you're comfortable. And then at that point, whether we go start playing with some of the meme coins, again, meme coins literally are like, they're not, most of them mean nothing, but they make a lot of money, and some of them go to zero. A lot of them go to zero, but can you make money in those? Yes. We'll cover things as far as how to invest in meme coins. We'll cover things as far as how you're going to invest in some of these AI coins. But that's some of the things that I'll be teaching. For me, sometimes people think that I know I talk fast sometimes, so I do have to say, like, tell my brain, like, slow down. You'll hear me on my calls, like, brain, slow down, because it's running so fast. But I try to slow it down to where if you had to go do this by yourself, what would you do? How would you do it? And so sometimes even on some of the trainings in some of your back office, you'll have like a booklet. So if I put out a call and say, hey, listen, these are coins that I'm looking at as I'm teaching on here. Here's the steps of how you're going to go do it. So if I'm giving you a coin that I may be looking on like a juke.ag site, that's a site that you can connect your wallet to. I'll literally give you a step-by-step guide of like, here, go click here, add the contract here. This is how you're going to buy it. And so those are things that I'll be teaching here. My daughter will definitely be on teaching stuff in regards to Forex. Both of my kids are I'm not fluent in Spanish, but both of my kids can read, write, and speak Spanish. So they will, well, my daughter, Messi, she'll definitely probably be doing some of those aspects too, because again, I love my baby. I don't want to brag on my baby, but my baby's good. I'm just saying,
You
I'm
better
a
brag
proud
on your
mama.
baby. You better. Listen, if I'm bragging on your family and your kids, I'm going to let you brag on them too. So, we're excited to have Majesty. And I know, you get so excited, but you had all of us years ago excited because I hadn't really known a lot about NFTs. I didn't understand the metaverse. You showed me where Snoop Dogg had a $2 million virtual
Yep.
property. And that's where Vibe is going to eventually go. Like we're already looking at having
Yep.
our own metaverse where we can have our own events inside of a virtual space. Because
And
why
the
wouldn't
crazy
we?
part about it is you can sell stuff in there. It's like, and you don't even have to rent the building. So it's
And that's
beautiful.
exactly what's going to happen. So we're excited to have Majesty because she is fluent in Spanish. She does beginning. She works with beginners as well. So we appreciate bringing you guys on, even though you're advanced. We appreciate bringing you on to take me
Yes.
and the other beginners and the other non-techie people over here so that we have an opportunity to learn from beginning to end. And you also have a crypto academy that's going to be over here. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely.
So
Yep.
we're excited about your crypto academy. And that's why I was telling people we actually have two crypto academies that we're going to have over here. And we have a Forex pod. So we're Forex heavy. We have a lot of Forex educators. We have a crypto pod. So I'm sure you and Barnaby will be working together closely as well with our crypto pod, our crypto academies. Then we have a professional performance mindset development team pod where we're going to hear from them later on this week as well. But I'm just excited to have you aboard because I know you were about to leave the country with your boo, and I know you're going to be all over the place, and I'm just excited that you said one more time. I'll do it with you guys one more time. And we're just excited to have you. So I'll get back with you too, Miss Kidd, and I'm gonna kind of tag team and ask you and Barnaby some questions as well. So
Thank you.
excited, you're welcome. All right, so we're gonna bring up Barnaby to do his 1-2 step, his introduction. If you guys missed the call, hopefully Barnaby is spotlighted too. I don't know if my screen is doing weird things right now. There we go.
So,
There we go. So if you guys didn't hear, I know Miss Tiala, you were on this morning, I believe, too, or you had checked out Barnaby. But you guys are in a class of your own. So I don't even know how I got you or Reagan or Andre got you guys to come over here by the grace of God.
Because it's a good thing. That's the only reason why I'm here. If it was bad, I would not be here.
I know. You know what? I know it. So it is by the grace of God that we are doing great business. So Barnaby, if you wouldn't mind kind of gracing us with your pedigree as well. And then I'm just going to kind of tag team and ask you guys some questions, just about, things in this virtual space.
awesome. Hey, well, it's great to be here again. Thank you so much. And it was awesome to get that introduction as well from you. And thanks, Megan, for having me up. Yeah, I talked a lot today. It was just me on the call with Megan. And I think there'll be a recording of that. So if you want to go back and do a deeper dive, I'll just give you that sort of snapshot overview. My name is Barnaby Anderson, and that's Sun, S-U-N, Barnaby Anderson. I'm the only person in the whole world with that name. You can go and check me out on my own personal website, barnabyandtheson.com. And I've built out a platform. I've spent the last actually 2 years building out. It's called CFire. It stands for cryptoisfire.ai. It's an AI-driven platform. But maybe just going back a little bit, just so you have some context on just what a deep geek I really am. So I've been involved in tech as an entrepreneur actually since the early mid-90s. Yeah, so I go all the way back. So I've been through about 4 or 5 waves of technology across this whole last 33 years. And it sounds like forever, but that's how much I love this space. And I could see even before the internet arrived that one day my vision, my goal was to go and live on a beach on some, tropical island and work off my laptop. How many of you would just love to do that? And so, you know how life goes? That was in my early 20s. I was 21 when I saw that, and it was like 93. That was before the internet even actually arrived. And so I could see what was coming because of my deep love of sci-fi as growing up as a teen in the 80s. But it took a while because I had a family then. I had my daughter came along in 95, just as the internet came along. And I was basically the first web design firm in all of Australia. And so I had the media coming over all the time. That sufficed just to show you how far this goes back for me. And obviously then I started traveling the world and running events. I would teach thousands of people after social media started. And so I'd be traveling and doing tours all across the States, coming from Australia and all of that. But my vision was always about how to empower people, how to show all of you how to actually use tech without having to be a techie, and how to have freedom, because that's really what my passion is how to show you how to have freedom. And I feel very blessed that by the end of 2012, when my daughter finished high school, that's when I just took off and lived my dream. So I've actually spent the last dozen years. I sold my tech company in Australia in 2010, and basically I just traveled all over the world. I spent to about 40 or 50 countries in the last dozen years. And I've lived on the beaches, just on my laptop working away, because I still always loved building tech. I would have built, dozens and dozens of different tech projects, launched them. And speaking of NFTs, so basically by the time that Ethereum came along in 2015, so that's been out for 10 years. That's how long DeFi, decentralized finance, has been out for 10 years. And even NFTs have been around for that long, maybe even a little bit longer. It's very curious, the history of these basically collectibles. Think of an NFT, like a baseball card, like a painting. It's a very curious, interesting thing. Well, me and my partner, we basically built out the first ever music NFT marketplace, a platform. So I actually created the first full album, a music album that could be played as an NFT. And we raised $1 million doing that back in 2021. So that was really at the peak when the Bored Apes were skyrocketing. I was launching music NFTs for the first time. So, can you imagine what it would have taken to actually figure out how to put an album that you could play inside an NFT? Man, this stuff is crazy what you can do. And it's just purely because you imagine it, And so, but my vision was really, I don't come from a music background. And so that's, by the way, that's called Band Royalty. If you want to go and check that out, that's really going places, that project. And if you go and check out barnabyanderson.com, you'll see all my different projects I've launched, including games. And basically most of it is tokenized. Why tokenized? That's what we're talking about here. The world is going to be tokenized. You're going to see even all the NASDAQ, all the stock market, they're all going to become tokens, folks. It's not only Bitcoin. Bitcoin led the way, okay? And what we're going to see is we're going to see this massive wealth transfer move from traditional assets directly into tokenized assets. And you are at the right place at the right time. This is an incredible opportunity. And that's why essentially across the whole last 6 months, I've been delighted and thrilled to be working with Megan in the background. Super excited. In fact, thanks to James Wiggins who introduced us, he told me from the get-go 6 months ago, Barnaby, finish off those. I built a whole set of free lessons. So in the CFire, in the Crypto is Fire, I spent the whole last 6 months building out 100 lessons per level, and there's 8 levels. So there's 1,000 lessons in there in CFire. And a lot of it, there's even a $7 level. There's a free level that you all get access to. And basically it comes with the AI. So I was super excited. I think I've been waiting my whole life for AI to show up. Because why is that? Why is AI so crucial? Because you can take all the most complex stuff. I know no one's going to go through all my 1,000 lessons I've built. It's there just to kind of, get you excited about what's possible. You can have access to that. But I know everybody's too busy. So guess what you can do? You can log in, open up the AI bot and just say, hey, it's May 20th. tell me what to do. It's just like that. You can personalize everything. You can say, I want to, can you just take the top 100 lessons here and give me the 5 main points of what to do? Anyway, that's my little snapshot overview. Megan, how about back
I'm
over
gonna
to
say
you?
you made that seem like that was just like not a big deal. That's like a big deal to be able to get that concise and that fast in crypto and to be able to hone in. That's awesome. So
Thank you so
don't
much.
yeah, that's awesome.
I love this, and I'm definitely going to let you guys kind of vibe out and piggyback off of each other as well, because it's like crypto NFT token royalty on this call. So I am going to try to do my best to ask questions and get as many of the questions and answers as possible. So my first question, if you guys don't mind, is, what was and both of you go. So we'll I used to do this thing called, like, you got like 60 seconds or something so we can get a lot of questions. But my first question is, what was your biggest aha moment with like blockchain, NFTs, crypto tokenization, DeFi? What was your biggest aha moment, or when was that big aha moment for you?
I'll go first. Okay.
Oh, yep. Anybody can go.
My big aha moment was when I first got started and I started buying the NBA Top Shot cards, which are digital cards. And when I opened up a pack of digital cards and they started being worth $10,000, $50,000, $100,000, that was how I got my family in figure it out as far as you need to be in crypto. I literally had been trying to get them to get into crypto for a long period of time or to buy NFTs. And they were like, well, no, I don't have time. So I literally put all of them on a Zoom call, opened up packs of digital cards, like right them in front of them. Like, okay, I just opened up, there's a LeBron card. Went to the amount of how much this one's worth. Oh, this was worth $10,000, but I only paid $29 for the pack of cards for all the cards that was in there. So my big aha moment was when I was able to get my family finally into crypto, because again, I don't need to leave anybody behind. And first of all, and then it also helps me to not have to like say, who need money? It's like, we all need money. Let me show you how we all gonna make the money together. That was my great aha moment right there.
Absolutely. You know what? Like
Amazing.
that. That's why my whole family's over here too, because I'm like,
Yeah.
listen, you guys need to be over here learning like I'm gonna learn, so everybody can fund their own hopes and
Really fund
dreams.
it. I'm not the loan. It's not kid family banking system.
Absolutely. I love
What you
that. So
can see
Barnaby,
here.
what was your aha moment?
Yeah, well, what you can see here, though, there's so many different routes, so many different routes that you can get to in this. Like you can see that whole NFT and how it just grabbed and just you got so excited, and that kind of led the path. That was the trailblazing. Mine was actually earlier, before even NFTs took off. And I mean, I'll just even tell you, for anybody who feels maybe you can relate, if you feel like you've missed out, because this is a bit painful, this story, okay, on my one. Mine goes back all the way to 2011. I have extremely distinct memories. I was obviously a deep geek. I was working. I just love this stuff. I'm always in front of my computer, 8 hours a day, nonstop for the last 30 years, guys. It's just like, but I have a lot of fun in my life. Everything is work and play. But in 2011, I was researching Bitcoin when it was 20 cents. When it was 20 cents. Okay. I was looking at Bitcoin. I was one of those people in Australia. Okay. So that's can you imagine the weight of that? And just to fill in what that was like. So I literally talked to only a couple of people. Nobody had even heard of Bitcoin. No, nobody. I was part of some tech groups. I was living in Brisbane, Australia. That's where I was raising my daughter. And I guess what? My cousin, she was a digital collector. Like she was playing those games online. There's been so many games online where you just collect little points and things. And because I was so deeply focused on e-commerce, can you imagine? From working in tech, building websites and e-commerce systems since 95, all I was interested in was on-ramps for people to be able to spend and buy stuff online. So literally the lens that I looked at Bitcoin in 2011, the lens that I looked at it was, there's no on and off ramps. You can't actually buy, you can't use this for exchanges. There's no way to actually use this to buy products. Right. A quick little story. One of the people I eventually knew, she was declined. She was selling pharmaceuticals and vitamins online. She was declined by Bitcoin and MasterCard and Visa, declined back at that same time. Can you imagine? And the only route she had for selling online was Bitcoin. She disappeared after that. Man, can you just imagine? All right. Anyway, back to me. What was my actual clincher? Because that's the sort of sad story. Okay. So then can you imagine after I sold my company, I was just having a lot of fun. I've now actually a grandfather. My daughter turns 30 this year. I finished being, active duty dad at the end of 2012. And so I kind of just went off and just traveled the world and had a blast. And I was just like doing e-commerce and I wasn't paying attention. I was not paying attention. And so every now and then I'd hear a bit about Bitcoin. I met a few people and it was always in and out of the news. And it was to do with the Silk Road and people were sort of trashing on it. They were sort of saying bad stuff. Okay. Back in those days, these are the early days. And so again, I was like, oh, I don't think I want to touch that. Can you imagine? Anyway.
20 cents. I thought I was doing good at 900. And I said, because someone asked me about at 900, I was like, I'm not buying that. Look, I can't do nothing with that thing. But man, had I just
bought basically it was in 2016.
It
was in 2016. I had a friend and he was just one of these digital friends. Okay. His name is Bushido. A lot of people I know who's completely changed my whole life. I have never met them. I have never seen them. I have never even spoken to them. Not once. And this was one of those characters. And somehow we just built this connection online. And one day just randomly, it was, middle to the Q3 of 2016. He said, I'm doing this new business. I don't know why I asked him. I just said, oh, what's that? He said, oh, I'm crypto mining. I said, oh, yeah. Like, what do you mean? Like Bitcoin? And he said, yeah, I'm mining Bitcoin and Ethereum. I said, oh, what's that? He said, oh, Ethereum came out last year. I said, oh, yeah, I was outside the launch of that in New York. I was outside the launch of that. This is freaking insane. Okay. And when he said to me, I said, oh, all I said to him was, that's cool. He said, no, man, that ain't cool. That's all there freaking is.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I said, he said, can you please sit up? I sat up. He said, drop everything.
You're doing.
And just, please, Barnaby, just do this.
Yeah.
And it was like a command that came through to me. And it was $600. And the first exchange I went to, I wired in the 600 to try to buy my first Bitcoin and they just stole it. And it's a major exchange. Man, can you just believe? And then I was wow. Oh, it was so darn hard to even buy any. Anyway, that's my story. Hope that was
oh my gosh. I'm having so much fun over here sitting in my car listening. This is like that. Listening to these stories, and I know it was $200 when I was exposed to it, but I was a single parent, just got divorced. I was like, I don't even have 2 cents. And you want me to spend $200 on some virtual nothing vanishing money? Like, no. And then I was in a network marketing company and it was at $3,000. Oh. This was not too long ago. This was 2019.
Right.
And I was making really good money. This is the terrible part.
Just a couple of those.
I was making really great money.
I could have bought 105,000. Was it 106,000 today?
Yeah,
just 106,000 for 20 cents each. Just $106,000.
I know. It's and I kick myself because I didn't buy it when it was $200. I didn't buy it when it was $3,000. In that same year that I didn't buy it at $3,000, it shot up to $10,000. Funny story. I was working with a young trader who traded binary and he was only 20 years old and we bought a program from him, but he would only take crypto as the payment. He's like, nope, I'm not taking anything but Bitcoin. So we dropped 10 grand and bought his program for 10 grand in Bitcoin. Ugh.
So you really paid him $105,000 for the course.
I know I did.
Imagine.
Hey, he made $95,000.
I got another quick story just to help reframe it for everybody. Basically, guess you might hear this guy in the news quite a bit, especially if you get into crypto. Michael Saylor. He runs strategies that used to be just recently called micro strategies. Okay, so if you're not familiar, look this guy up. And he has a tweet back from 2013 where he says something like, Bitcoin is rat poison or stupid. Don't go anywhere near it. In 2013, he said something very bad about Bitcoin. He is now almost pretty much the largest holder of a person with over 500,000 Bitcoin.
Oh my gosh.
Average price point. He's buying them through his fund at 67,000 each. That's the average price of his whole fund. And he changed his strategy and changed his tune in either 2020 or 2021. So we're saying about 4 years ago, he switched from being the biggest anti-Bitcoin person and pivoted his whole company just 4 years ago. And he found this incredible, crazy loophole in the US financial system that enables him. It's a glitch. It's a money loop. He can basically buy an endless supply of freaking Bitcoin. Just saying.
my
So
God.
he started that 4 years ago
Yeah.
at 67,000 on average per coin, and he's just stacking them. And he ain't stopping. He wants to
He's
buy
not at all.
Bitcoin.
Not at all.
What's
He's not
what's
stopping
his
at
name?
all. Like for what? It's like for what? Well, I mean, with especially with the way the U.S. is going, it's like being more crypto friendly. It's like, and I always tell people this because I remember teaching very early on, and everyone was like, "Well, it's a scam. It's a scam. The banks won't let you do it." I was like, "I don't care if my bank don't let me do it. I'm still gonna buy some crypto." Because literally banks were telling you they would flag your card and you could not buy crypto because it was like the biggest scam. To come find out that they're all going to probably have their own coin and they're all doing this blockchain stuff. So no, it's like if they say it's a scam, I'm trying to figure out what's the part of the scam because I haven't found the scam. But can you be scammed? Yes, but I haven't figured out the scam yet. So
Absolutely. Oh man. Well, so that leads me to my next question. What do you think is well, aside from it being, a scam, what do you think is the biggest misconception people still have about just the crypto, DeFi, NFT world, other than like, it's a scam, you know, I get it, but what do people not know about it or where it's going or, I don't know where you
Can
want to
I
take that
can I jump
question.
in first, Megan? Because
Absolutely.
yeah, my first thing, I first think that the misconception might sound a bit strange, a bit out there, but I think the biggest misconception that people have is actually about money itself. Here's the thing that I think. I think that people think that money is real. They think that the dollar, the almighty currency, reserve currency of the whole freaking world, they think that that is real. It ain't real, folks. Guess what? They have an unlimited supply, and it is a freaking token. The US dollar. The US dollar is a token. And they've hypnotized you. They make you think that your whole life that you're running your whole life around an endless supply token that, guess what? In the last 10 years has dropped by over 35% in value. In the last 1 year has dropped over 10% in value just in the last year. That's how much the token of the US dollar across the last 100 years has lost over 95% of value. And so the more that you stack dollars in your bank account thinking that they're real, and I'm not here to tell you, no. We have to be realistic. Obviously, we need dollars. Because guess what? You go and buy the groceries, they're not going to take Bitcoin. They want dollars. So that's the thing. Once you realize that the whole world wants dollars, that we're in a transition point. This is the biggest misconception. They think that the deal is done. They think that things stay the same. No, they don't stay the same. We are in a currency war. I'm sorry to say it like this, folks.
Yes.
We're in a currency war, and the US dollar is no longer the reserve currency. Wake up, wake up. It's no longer. There is a war going on, and Bitcoin is on the rise. And Bitcoin's not the only one. No. There is a multi-currency, and you need to figure out, you need to wake up and get smart and figure out how to play this game. And I guess I get it. I'm sorry. I'm just the messenger. I am sorry, everybody.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I wish it wasn't like this. I wish you didn't have to figure out. It used to be simpler. It ain't simple anymore.
Right.
You've got to get deal. And so these tokens, guess what? Any of us, I issue tokens. I've launched my own tokens. I'm about to launch the next CFI token. It's going to make $1 billion. Me, out of nowhere. You can do this. You can do this. This is crazy town. But guess what? One more final piece on this. Do you know that the US, the almighty US, when it was founded by the founding fathers back about 250 years ago, did you know that there were multiple currencies at the beginning that were competing? The US was founded and grew because of competitive currencies. It actually is great for everybody. It lifts competition, helps rise the integrity. Anyway, that's what I think the biggest misconception is that money is real. And guess what? Money is changing. Money's changing.
So, and I'm going to hop over to Tiila, but I'm going to come back to that because here, when I listen to you guys, which I do often, I could listen to you guys for years and years, and I have listened to you even when you don't know I'm listening to you. I'm all like finding your videos and listening to you, stalking you and trying to figure out like, okay, I know what the problem is, that misconception, and we're going to come back to the so what you think. I know you're not financial advisors. I know that's not what you do, but we don't teach it at school, so we're going to learn it in Vibe School.
Right.
Because I want to come back to that after you speak, Tiala, about, okay, so what do we do about it? I'm always like, okay, here's the problem. I always need somebody to tell me what potential solutions are right away so I don't get caught holding Zimbabwe money. Remember when that money, was it Zimbabwe money that went to, they were
Yeah.
like burning it to keep warm and stuff because it didn't have any value?
Yep.
Was that, I hope I'm getting that story right, but Tiala, what do you think is the
I think
biggest misconception?
the biggest misconception is that most people think you have to buy a whole coin or like all of something. And you don't. Whether you're buying you don't have, I mean, obviously, I'm not telling anybody to go buy BTC for 107,000. You're buying at the top. So, but thinking that you have to buy that whole piece. It's a matter, you can buy, if it's $20, $50, or $100 or $1,000 of that, you can, and I recommend people DCAing, and I have people all the time like, well, hey, I want to buy 10 BTC. I'm like, well, listen, okay, you can buy the 10. I'm cool with that. But at the same time, we're not buying them like all in the same shot. It's like now, if you're going to buy 100 and we're going to break it down into 10s at a time, I'm fine with that. But I always tell people, if you're going to buy 10 BTC or whatever, I know it's 100,000, it's $1 million. Listen, there are people in crypto, you could be sitting right next to them and they have millions of dollars. And I'm not talking about like older people. I'm literally talking about like teenagers that can have millions. I literally mean like millions of dollars in their wallet. And the crazy part what I love about crypto is that I could send Megan $1 million and nobody could tell me I couldn't. I just have to have her address, and we have to, obviously we're going to verify it a couple of times.
Well,
I'm like, does it end and start at the beginning here, and does it end with this number? You're going to do all those clarifications.
well,
But
listen, Tiala, you can do that if
I
you want.
can't.
I have my wallet address if you, we'll talk after this call. But anyways, go ahead, I'm
Let's
listening.
test it out. Let's test it.
I might
Hey,
not
Tiala,
send
just
it back.
riffing on what you were just saying just there about the whole, that also reminds me of one of the key piece that I totally missed. And it dovetails in with that you think you have to buy a whole one of this.
Yeah.
The other one is that there's a limited supply. That was the missing piece for me. Back in 2011, guess what? All it would have taken, one conversation at the time. If I just somehow figured this out, or somebody just told me in 2 minutes, do you realize that there's a limited supply of 21 million of these tokens, and they're currently only 20 cents, and they can't be stopped. The trading can't be managed. You can't control it. Just that piece of information, just that one thing alone. So, and inside of that as well, you don't need to buy a whole one. So this combination of learning, oh, hang on, you can own a 0.0001 and there's a limited supply, while the other big token, the US dollar token, it's got an unlimited supply and it's dropping in value every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the banks paying you 0.000001 for your money. Not here. I know I have to have it there to pay bills or whatever, but nah, we good. We gonna go. We good over here.
Hey guys, put a 1 in the chat if you are loving this podcast style. First Token Tuesday. I am loving it. How many of you guys really would love to be in their classes, asking them questions, listening to them teach from start to finish? And listen, and people told us Vibe is a scam and we don't have any real products. What? I'm like, okay, I know who my friends are.
Yeah.
I know who my friends are. I
We're
know
gonna do
what
some big
knowledge.
things over here. We're gonna do some big things. Watch.
We really are like, and this was me, Tiala and Barnaby. I was learning some of these things, but then I made the mistake of teaching it in a public high school. And then I became the black sheep. And then they're like, nah, you gotta go. You can't be blowing up the apple cart in here and teaching stuff that's not in the curriculum. My department chair, can you just stick to the curriculum? I'm like, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Can we
all my nieces
learn?
and nephew will know crypto. It's like, I'm sorry not to cut you off, but
No, go ahead.
Even I think about with our kids, because again, all my nieces and nephew, when we were talking about games, I know Barbara, you said something about you did games and stuff. I literally made them play like crypto type games to where they earn crypto. So if your kids are like playing games you need to be figuring out which crypto game can they play to earn some crypto, to earn some money. And I would tell my niece and nephew, like, okay, I'm good with you playing a game, but ain't not buying no more $20 whatever for such and such. We're gonna go over here and figure out how you're gonna create a game to where people can pay you to get the game and for the game every time they pay it, and they're gonna pay you for all the NFTs that you're gonna create. And the crazy thing about NFTs, I had one niece who literally created an NFT, and it's not like if I sold it to Barnaby one time, okay, I sell it to him for $500. I become big. He sells it for $1,000. Guess what? Pay me my royalties over here. And it can sell like 10 times in a day. And every time it sells, I don't care if it goes up or if it goes down, I'm getting money. So I'm waking up to money. And so that's how I started teaching my nieces and nephews of saying, hey, you know what? Listen, these games, these Xbox games, I'm cool with that, but you can have a little bit of time with that. But we're about to build some big things over here to where people are going to pay you some money to play your game, to pay you some money to get your NFT, to pay you some money to buy the best sword or to buy the best clothing. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do in this space. And if you are an artist, I know I'm not supposed to keep talking, but I'm just hyped right now. If you are an artist or somebody like that, you need to be figuring out how to do NFTs. I've paid thousands of dollars for NFTs for art because, again, it's about the numbers. If there's 10 of them available, if there's a one of one, guess what? I'm trying to buy the 101 because guess what? If you become big and I pay you $1,000 for it and I can now sell it for 10,000, you don't care if I sell it for 10,000 because if you have an art place and you sell your art, it's like you're done. But when you're doing the NFT thing, it's like you sell your digital art. One, you don't have to ship it. You don't got to store it. You sell your digital art, it sells for $10,000. They're going to send you that $1,000. It's the same day it sells for $50,000. They're going to send you that 10%. They're going to send you that $1,500. You've made money continuous for the rest of your life. That because it's on the blockchain, you will make money for the rest of your life anytime that NFT sells. So sorry, that I just had to go off.
No, so
I'm back.
and
I'm back.
So this brings me to the next question is we know that there's a misconception about money really being, the dollar being what it is. There are misconceptions about people thinking that you have to go all in and I need to have $100,000 and get one whole Bitcoin. You're teaching your young family members how to be creators. Everybody type that word in the chat. What do you think Vibe is doing? We are going to co-create inside of this space. So how do you guys see Vibe being a catalyst for, really truly moving people into the true 2025, but not 2025, where we can move into 2030 and 2040.
I'm sorry, Megan. Let's go. That's how I see it.
Love it.
That's what I be saying. You're going to hear me holler that on call. That's what I'm saying right now. So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's what I'm saying. Let's go.
Yeah, and you know what? And that's what Vibe isn't trying to be. That's what we are. I didn't want to leave my friends behind either because I met you and your family, Tiila. I met James Wiggins. I met Barnaby. I stayed in a $40 million house that wasn't mine though. So I'm excited for his $40 million house and he has $1 billion. But I wanted the knowledge. I wanted to know, okay, where do I start? Because sometimes you can get overwhelmed when you meet individuals like you guys and I'm so excited, but then I'm like, okay, what do I do now? So what do people do now? Like they've met you. You cannot go back inside of this hole, you know what I mean? You're out of the box, you two. So what would you encourage our Vibe community to do with this knowledge that you're giving them today with the Vibe Vault? Because you guys live in the vault, right? But you're also going to live in Vibe Global. You guys are going to have your own courses alongside of them inside of Vibe Global. We're going to also get to the point where you guys may be doing, some other teaching inside of here as we go to phase 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 35 of Vibe. But how would you suggest that what do you suggest that people do now that you guys are out of the box and they've learned a little bit about you?
You want to go first? Okay.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing, and I always have to tell my brothers and sisters, is that you have to give yourself some grace and give yourself some time. Don't think that you're going to learn all of this stuff in one session. I always tell people, you took 4 years to go get a degree that you don't even use today. I mean, you still might work, but that you don't use today, And so I did the same thing. I went and got my 4th degree. I'm like, okay, great. I got it. Never worked. I've been blessed, but never worked, but I still have my degree. But the same thing applies when you're looking at crypto. You have to literally give yourself some time to get it. If you could take, if it took you 3 months, 6 months, a year to learn crypto, it's forever money. And so once you get the taste of crypto and you start thinking like, wow, this thing is crazy. There's potential here. Just come. There's things that as crypto keeps growing, I mean, it goes super, super fast. So you have to educate yourself. I would say get educated. Come to our trainings. You can see we both know what we're talking about. I'm not shy about I can hear him and I know he knows what he's talking about. And so we both know what we're talking about in this space. And so I think it's important that you attend the trainings. We both said it. We're not trying to leave anyone behind. But at the same time, you've got to do your part. I told my brother and sister, I'm like, listen, there's opportunity here. But it's going to take some sacrifices. It's going to take you watching a couple of YouTube videos I might send you to. It's going to take some things for you to sacrifice and do. But once you know it, you know it. Like some of my sisters, I was like, oh, Lord, remember, it's 9 of us. I got to take calls from everybody. Because again, everybody's trying to buy the same coin that I want to buy and they want to buy. I'm like, but you have to understand, if you get educated, you don't have time for wait for me, because in crypto, that could be 100% move by the time you get in, because I'm trying to get in first. I'm letting you know, I'm trying to get in, and then I can take the calls. So you getting educated and then knowing what you're doing becomes so important. But give yourself grace, give yourself some time. Don't expect to get it all. Don't dump all of your money in one shot. DCA in, put a little bit in at a time. I would say things like that, but give yourself some time to learn it. And just like you did when you got your 4-year degree.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Barnaby, what do you want to piggyback on that?
Yeah, I just think that's brilliant advice. Like there's a phrase, I think it's something like slow down to speed up, So it's something like that. There's a paradox here where you need to kind of really take stock and remind yourself, Bitcoin's been around for 17 plus years. So if you missed out, you did, because you didn't participate. But that doesn't mean that you can just make up 17 years this month. Can't do that. And DeFi and Ethereum's been around for 10 years. And these NFTs, the whole big marketplace took off. I was building that music NFT platform. Like that's 5 years. You see, so how you can't just squeeze all that in, and because you basically need to give yourself some breathing room to kind of relax and kind of go, oh, okay. And inside of that, it can sound really confusing, because guess what? If you had 100 different experts, people in crypto alone, let alone all the financial markets, and you listen to everybody, they all have different strategies. They all do. We will all tell you that each of us is doing something, either quite different or a bit different. And so you need to kind of take stock of your most precious resource, which is time, okay? And tune into trust. You really want to tune into the trust and just get centered and grounded and kind of allow yourself to be guided, And so I would say that that's really important here, just to really tune in and go, wow, okay, there's a lot happening in this space. There's a lot of noise, okay? And figure out, but it is good for you to learn. Clearly you do. There's some hard skills. And I don't know how many different domains there are, but let's even say there was like 10 different sections of hard skills to learn. That's a lot. And so just spend this year taking stock. One more year. You've already missed out on the last 17.
Yeah.
Bitcoin. Just one more year. Just dive in. Do an hour a day. How about that? Maybe not, and just do either paper trading or, a small amount, dip your toe in the water, just figure out what's going to be the right moves for you as you explore. And I know that just on my strategy of what I'm doing with CFire, with Crypto is Fire, my academy, you see, we also have our own sort of remuneration package where we reward people for sharing it to kind of de-risk. That's what we're doing. And actually, you got that with Vibe, to de-risk. Go and share Vibe. That's what we're also doing with CFire. Go and share that. Make your commissions and put those in. Let part of your commission, maybe 10% of it, 20%, that can be your capital to test out. Anyway, those are just some of my tips.
No, I love that. Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
Tiala. No,
I was
jump
saying
in.
one other thing is don't feel like you can do everything. You're not going to be able to do staking, you can't do 50 things. You're not going to do it meme coins and then you're going to, it becomes too overwhelming. So you're going to get good at something. Like for me, sometimes you may see me put the same coin out. Like, hey, I'm looking to trade this coin. Listen, it's money. I don't care the name of the coin. If the same coin is doing the same thing and making the money, we're going to do the same thing and make the money. I don't care if you don't want to buy XYZ coin. The other 3 coins that we still are using are great and we're making money. So when I find a pattern in a coin, I'm like, listen, we're about to buy this coin here. Or I'm looking at this coin here. It might be the same coin, but it's the same money. So don't get overwhelmed and think you have to do 50 different things.
And maybe just riffing on that, like some of these hard skills, I love everything I was saying there. Like, so some of these other hard skills, one of them for sure, I'm not saying that you definitely have to do this, but there's a lot of value in learning to read charts. That's for sure. A lot of value in learning to read charts because you'll be able to take that skill. Guess what? The charts are pretty much always the same, whether it's Forex, stocks, or crypto. And if you ask both of us, do we look at charts before we enter? Absolutely. Absolutely. I've spent the last 25 years studying charts. And I've been fascinated because, and some of those chart readings, candlesticks are a major pattern that people use in the charts. They come from Japan from 400 years ago when they were doing rice patterns. That's what they call the candlesticks. They're Japanese. So people have been analyzing charts. Some people, they say it doesn't work. Well, I think that's not quite true. So there's a lot to reading charts. And as you go through Vibe and learn and study across the different markets, maybe you're going to get into Forex, maybe you're going to get into crypto, the same, just getting that one skill. I'm telling you.
If chart is a chart.
And actually in life, if I was going to talk to a 16-year-old kid, to be quite honest, and they said, what's 2 of the most important skills for me to make money in this world? Learning how to sell and learning to read charts. Sorry, folks, just those 2 skills.
That makes so much sense. So this brings me to, and I know we're at 9:02 right now, so I'm sitting in my car sweating in here, but I don't care because I'm learning. But it brings me to our population. Right now, we have a very big baby boomer population. Not low tech, right? I always tell people I am low tech, high check. I have learned how to use the gift of gab. I'm just not out here talking about whatever. I've learned how to see value in education and then monetize the education. Or monetize the education that I want to learn. I want to learn more about crypto. I want to learn how to read charts, which you guys will learn how to do that over here in Vibe in the Vault. I want to understand NFTs and crypto. I want to create Vibe Metaverse. I want us to be vibing out inside of the metaverse, having our own events. I want to do all of those things. So I am taking advantage. I'm being kind of selfish because what I want to learn, I'm putting inside of, Reagan's putting inside of here. Andre, we're putting inside a Vibe because we know where the future is headed. So kind of a 2-part question. What do we say to our baby boomers who are, I think our most seasoned is 95. And I know Miss Wilhelmina will tell you she's 90 and a firecracker and she ain't messing around. She's been to Detroit event twice and she's phenomenal. But what would we tell our baby boomers who are maybe feeling like this is too much at this stage in my life? It's kind of a 2-part question going into, but where is the future of NFTs, tokens, digital assets going in the next 3 to 5 years potentially? So talk to our baby boomers, but then also where's this world of DeFi going? Because it's going whether we want it to go or not. It's going.
I'll just jump in and I kind of did, I'll be repeating myself, and it's not necessarily a nice thing to say to somebody because a baby boomer, maybe you're 65, maybe you're 70, maybe you're 75. Well, people are living longer. So I'd be saying there, it's quite feasible that you could have another 20 to 30, maybe even 40 more years to live, especially with medicine. Now that we have AI, the breakthroughs we're going to see with medicine. But I just think it's kind of a little bit sad that some of us might think, oh, can I afford to live that long? I'm really sorry about this, folks. You might have a lot more decades still. Yeah. And we are in this incredible inflection, this incredible transition point with currency itself. You have to understand the last 80 years, since the Bretton Woods Agreement of 1944, when the US dollar became the reserve currency. That is coming or has come to an end. The petrodollar, where the US did the deal with Saudi Arabia for dollars to be only able to transact, that is over. So whatever you've been clinging to, it's going or gone. You basically, in order for, and you've built up a nest egg. I'm sure you have. I hope you have. And I'm not saying don't go take your $1 million nest egg or whatever. If maybe you're lucky like that, and just put it all in Bitcoin. No, we're not saying that. We're not financial advisors. But taking that 1 year to dive deep and discover what is the current, how could the currencies evolve? And I am sorry, we are all moving a bit in the dark. If we actually knew the secret to where it's going to be all in 2030, wow, we'd be made, but we don't know. So we're figuring this out together, but we do have some ideas. And so I would say one of the biggest things to say to you baby boomers is kind of wake back up and go, oh, wow, the game is not set. I need to still get on the court.
Yeah. And I would piggyback on that. The same thing I think about, like my mom's 76 and I'm like, Mama, we need to buy some crypto. My mom and my mother-in-law, like, listen, let me show you how we're going to buy crypto. And so I think that's one of the, God has really blessed me. I think in the sense of being able to teach even at that, for people who are that age, because again, I get it. You're not normally trying to figure out, because like I'll be on my phone, my mother-in-law will be like, Mama, listen, click the button right here. And that's why I think it's important to put the pictures and things like that for some people, because I like to see visual. I'm a visual person. So I think it's important for people who are baby boomers. Again, I know you may not be tech savvy. You can still do this. It's not, once you take the time to learn it, you know it. And there's no guarantee. I always tell people now, there's no guarantee that Social Security going to be around. There's no guarantee that a lot of these things that we thought might be here are still going to be here. They might not be here. And so for me, I'm getting to a point like, well, I don't want to depend on nothing. It's like, I got to depend on what is Tiala going to do? If there's nothing else here, what do I have for me and my family? What do I have left for my great grandkids? What crypto am I buying like right now? Am I buying a little bit of BTC for my great? Yeah, they got a little bit over there. So when it gets to them, we all gonna be good. And so I think it's important right now of what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? You might not get all the benefits and seeing the big run-ups of what you're doing with some of the crypto, but your great grandkids will. And so I think not as Marmy was saying, I don't think it's important. I don't think it's wise to I'm taking like all my money out of the bank and I'm taking all my money out of my 401 and I'm going to buy crypto. I'm not saying to do that. And I'm not saying to do that, but I'm not letting no financial advisor, not per se. And I'm not saying I'm not no financial advisor, but I'm saying I'm going to be my financial advisor as to what I'm expecting my life to look like in a couple of years. And so I think having some type of strategy or even some categories of saying, okay, you know what, if I have X amount of money, maybe I'm going to invest this percentage into like something that's solid, like a Bitcoin or Ethereum. Again, dollar cost averaging in on that. But then maybe I have a little bit more money over here that I can play with some of these meme coins or some of these other alt type coins to where I can potentially get some bigger returns. But you're not jeopardizing all the money you have. And so it's possible. Listen, don't use age as an excuse. Listen, I'm in my 50s and my kids, I'll tell them in a hot second, I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, y'all better get over here in this crypto. I'm trying to convince 20-year-olds to like, hey, y'all better come over here with this crypto. But that was just I can see where it's going. I literally see where it's going. I've experienced what it can do for my family. Like I've firsthand experience, and I think that's important as you're in this particular space.
Well, let me just share quickly something that could actually be that could be relevant for people like gold, for example. Everybody, gold's been around forever, and maybe you feel more comfortable with gold. Did you know that gold has been tokenized? Did you know it's one of the top trading digital assets? Because you tell me, how easy is it for you to go and carry around some gold coins and use them? I also love gold, guys. And did you know that gold has become one of the best performing assets? It's up over 55% increase in the last year. While the dollar's been dropping, gold's been rising. Like this is one of my gold coins here. Like this is a full ounce gold coin here. But I can't do much with that. It's great to have those. I recommend having those. No financial advice though, but gold it's gone up by 55% in the last year. But And inside the Seafire Academy, inside our own digital wallet, you can hold, as you can in your own wallet, you can hold tokenized gold that's backed up by gold, and you can even spend that. And it doesn't have to be, one whole Bitcoin per se, one whole gold ounce. Do you know you can just send somebody and pay for things, even spending this digital gold? I mean, this stuff is deep. You can do so much now. It's incredible.
So you guys know I just lost my father. Well, I didn't lose him. He transitioned. I still feel his energy everywhere. But, my dad, to know my dad was to love my dad, because he just blunt in your face. And, my dad had gold and silver coins, a couple $1,000s worth. And he would always say, well, Meg, I have don't forget the safe code, because my gold and silver coins are here. And I'm like, Dad, I don't want to talk about that. You're going to live forever. I don't want to talk about you not being here. No, you got to know. So when I saw my dad the last time, he was on our call, and then I got a chance to divert. I was in St. Louis, with the Zia, and we had a great time. And I'm like, I'm going to see my dad. It snowed really bad, but I'm like, I'm going to see my dad. So I was there with my dad, and we always vibe out, listen to music. And my dad's like, listen, don't forget, if something happens to me, my gold coins. I'm like, Dad, I'm not listening. Right. I got it though, Dad. I got the code. He's like, you're going to forget. He kept saying, you're going to forget. You're going to forget the code. I'm like, I'm not going to forget the code, Dad. He's like, you're going to forget. And then when my dad passed, it was shocking. And I was like, I forgot the freaking code. I get to my dad's house to clean out his house, and he left the safe open for me. I'm like,
oh, wow.
he already knew I was
He
going to
already knew
forget.
you were going to forget.
He knew I was going to forget. And,
Wow.
he had his gold and his silver coins. And he's like, you never know. You need to hang on to these. And, so I just kind of had to laugh, because my dad, always makes you laugh. And I'm like, gosh darn it. He knew I was going to forget. And he popped the safe open for me. And there was this gold coin. So, I am so excited for the two of you. And this is just the beginning. This is our first, the team's first experience of me being able to bring you guys aboard. And Andre and Reagan are so excited for you guys to be here. And I kept telling people, I'm like, just wait. You don't know who our friends are. I'm like, some of our friends have made millions and millions of dollars. Some of our friends are going to be in the billionaire status. I'm going to stay connected to them. And we're not gatekeepers. So we are going to share you guys with the Vibe community. And I am so very grateful that you guys have taken time to be on here. If you can give one last, there was close to 600 people on this call. What kind of impact, if we could end with this before we hop off, what kind of impact could being inside of Vibe and learning from you, Tiala, learning from Barnaby, going through Seafire, going through, you had your own platform, Tiala, that the Black Business School, right? Used your platform, and I'm blown away by everything that you've created. What kind of impact could them joining this particular program create for them or for their families in the long term?
I'm sorry, but they're blowing my yard outside, so right in the middle of the call. So sorry about that. You were asking me as far as what I missed some calls.
Yeah. So what kind of impact could sitting in your class, sitting in Barnaby's class, being a part of Vibe, what kind of impact could you see this could potentially create for our members and their families long term?
I think it's important. Again, I think sitting in the class, one, you're going to know how to buy your crypto, and you're going to be confident in what you're doing. I think the more confident you get in the crypto space. Now, don't get cocky. I'm not saying to be cocky about it, because I still literally, when I'm transferring coins, I look at the beginning and the ending of my addresses, and especially if you're sending a bigger amount of money, you double check it a couple times. But I think that's important as far as, sitting in some of my trainings, you're gonna know your stuff. That's like literally the bottom line. You're gonna know how to buy your coins. You're gonna know how to keep it safe. You're gonna know how to, obviously, like Barnaby said a little earlier, you're gonna know how to sell your coins. Because again, buying it and holding it forever, yeah, you might be able to do that, but you might want to go on vacation. You might want to pay off a car. So learning those different things will be what are things that you're definitely going to learn from my trainings. I literally I try to make it as basic as possible. Even if it's something that's going to be a little bit more advanced, I'm still going to try to give you the beginner steps of what you're going to do if you're a beginner, so that you know how to do exactly what I'm talking about. Well, on some of my calls, I might put a coin out that might be crazy, where an advanced person literally knows what to do. And it's like, okay, you'll still have the steps to say, okay, I use this one exchange or use this one dex site. I now know how to go use this other one. So those are things, just trying to make it as basic as possible, as simple as possible for you. That's my whole goal when I'm trying to teach whatever I'm teaching to anyone. So I'll say that.
Awesome. Simplicity is the key. I love it. I love it. Barnaby, I'll give you that same question. I know you've built a phenomenal platform that we're going to be able to use and actually refer people to use your C-Fire and earn passively in crypto, which is phenomenal as well. But where do you see this thing going? How do you see this could be beneficial for the Vibe family, themselves and their family?
Well, part of a huge piece of what I built over there with Seafire, and I'm going to be sharing this message. It is it's around DeFi, decentralized finance, which is about the programming of money. And it does start to sound very complex. And so part of my big role is to break that down and make it simple. Why did I pick that out of, the dozens of different crypto mechanisms and coins and strategies? Because sadly, with trading, which is where people first typically go, sadly, the stats show 90% of traders lose money. I just know that it's so emotional for people when they get in and try to get out. It's very hard, and people have got jobs and they're busy. But I'm here to say, so I basically built all of Seafire, and a huge piece of my own passion, what I love doing, is keeping it simple. That was what Taylor was talking about, like keeping it simple. And I figured out the strategies that take less than 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes a day, that can be producing a yield, even on a relatively small amount, that can even equal $100 to $200 a day. So I'm just really passionate about showing people how to have a passive income yield where they don't have to go and, sell the farm. You don't have to take everything you got. No. And you can even start with small. You can just test it, even with $100, and just figure it out and like start to play with that. That's a very different strategy, let's say, to the NFT strategy or the trading strategy, or there's so many strategies here. So I like to show you each of them, and for you could go test them out. You got the whole year here. Come and be here for a year and try them out. But what I've discovered is what I like doing is passive yield that takes 5 minutes a day. Over to you guys.
I love it. I mean, at $100 to $200 a day, I was in a network marketing company making $50 a day. And when I hit 100 a day, there was something about having 3,000 extra dollars
Yeah.
coming to me every single month. I just didn't know what to do with it. Right. So now this time when we're rolling in the dough, I'm going to know exactly what to do with my money because I went and got the best of the best. I believe on this planet, I believe you guys are the best of the best at what you do, and put you in one place called Vibe where everyone can afford to learn. But more importantly, people they can't afford not to do this, right? $249 a month to come over here, and you two are just, you're a fraction, but a huge part of how we're going to grow over here. So I just want to say thank you so very much, and believing one more time. Thank you and love for loving the people and building this grassroots opportunity. I will be in every single one of you guys' classes. That's why we record them as well, because if I can't be sitting right there, because I'm doing corporate stuff, I'm going to be watching those recordings. But my goal is to be in every person's class. And guys, we're not going to overwhelm you with classes. We're going to have, where Tiila was once teaching 4 and 5 classes a day. And we're not going to do that because we have a lot of educators. We want to make sure that we give you guys, enough that you can handle. But note takers are the money makers, guys. So get a notebook and label it with Barnaby's name. Get another notebook and put Miss Tiila's name on another notebook, and take notes and learn. This is a learning platform. So when someone says, well, Vibe, what if I lose my money? Vibe is a scam. What? You're coming over here to learn how to grow your income, right? We're not coming over here just to recruit and do network marketing. We're coming over here to understand how money works, and then recruiting and us paying you is a byproduct, and then take that money and do what people tell you to do, right? Or suggest to do. We're not financial advisors, but you guys have what I want. So I'm just trying to be like you when I grow up. Well, I love you guys with all my heart. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate your time. I do not take it lightly. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for listening in. And we'll see you guys back here tomorrow. We have Wealth Wednesday. We're going to learn more. We're going to meet new people inside of the vault. Hopefully you guys got something out of it, because I know I did. So peace and blessings. And we'll see you guys at the top.
Thank you so
See you
much.
later. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone. Thanks, great. It's great.